Vishaya Vishama Visha Shatata Khaina Gaura Kirtana Rase Maganana Haina Kirtana rase maganana haino keno vachaye prana ki sukha paiya Vachaya prana ki sukha paya Narotam dasa kina nagelo Maria Sakina Najilo Maria Gaura Pahuna Bhajiya Gainu Gaura Pahuna Bhajiya Pahuna Bhajiya Gainu Bhajiya Gainu Preme Ratana Dhana Helai Harainu Adhane yatana kari dhanate aginu Adhane yatana kari dhanate aginu Apana karama doshe apani dubinu Apana karama doshe apani dubinu Satsanga chadi kaino asate vilas satsanga chari kaino asate vilas te karan lagil ye karma bandha phat te karan lagil ye karma bandha phat Vishaya Vishama Visha Shatata Kaino Vishaya Vishama Visha Shatata Kaino Gaura Kirtana Rashe Maganana Hainu Gaura Kirtana Rashe Maganana Hainu Kenavachaya prana ki sukha paiya Kenavachaya prana ki sukha paiya Narotam dasa kina nagilo Maria Narotam dasa kina nagilo Maria Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivijakacarya Ashtotar Shota Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivijakacarya Ashtotar Shota Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavindi ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem Se Kaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivindi ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govindana Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Vrindavan Dham ki Mathura Dham ki Ganga Mai ki Yamuna Mai ki Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Thanksgiving Marathon ki, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki, all glories to the devotees, Hare Krishna, all glories to the devotees, Hare Krishna, all glories to the devotees, Hare Krishna, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Namo Vishnupada Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I want to put this up. 3-5-29. Okay. Mahat Tattvat Vikurvanat Aham Tattvam Gajayata Karya Karana कर्तृ आत्मा भूत इंद्रिय मनःमयः वैकारिकः तैजसः च तामसः च इति अहं त्रिधा महत्तत्वाद् विकुर्वाणात् अहं तत्त्वं व्यजायत कार्यकारणकर्तात्मा भूतेन्द्रियमनोमयः वैकारिकस्तेजस् तेजश्च वैकारिकस्तैजश्च तामसश्चेत्य अहं त्रिधा महत्तत्वाद् विकुर्वाणात् अहं तत्त्वं व्यजायत कार्यकारणकर्तात्मा भूतेन्द्रियमनोमयः वैकारिकस्तैजसश्च तामसश्चेत्य अहं त्रिधा महत्तत्वाद् विकुर्वाणात् अहं तत्त्वं व्यजायत कार्यकारणकर्तृत्वात्मा भूतेन्द्रियमनोमयः वैकारिकस्तैजसश्च तामसश्चेत्य अहं त्रिधा. Please repeat.
तामसश्चेत्यहं वृथा महत्तत्वाद्विकुर्वाणात् अहं तत्त्वं व्यजायत कार्यकारणकर्तात्मा भूतेन्द्रियमनोमयः वैकारिकस्तैजसश्च तामसश्चेत्यहं त्रिधा महत्तत्वाद्विकुर्वाणात् अहं तत्त्वं व्यजायत कार्यकारणकर्तात्मा भूतेन्द्रियमनोमयः वैकारिकस्तैजसश्च तामसश्चेत्यहं त्रिधा महत्तत्वाद्विकुर्वाणात् अहं तत्त्वं व्यजायत कार्यकारणकर्तात्मा भूतेन्द्रियमनोमयः वैकारिकस्तैजसश्च तामसश्चेत्यहं त्रिधा महत्तत्वाद्विकुर्वाणात् अहं तत्त्वं व्यजायत कार्यकारणकर्तात्मा
Tendriya manomaya.
Vaikārikastaijasascha Tāmasascetyaham tada.
Okay, Mataji's?
Mahatattvad vikurvanat aham tattvam vyajayata Karyakaranakartatma Bhutendriyamanomaya Vaikārikastaijasascha Tāmasascetyaham tada.
Okay. So, Mahat, the great. Tattvat, from the causal truth. From the causal truth. Vikurvanat, being transformed. Aham, false ego. Tattvam, material truth. Vyajayata, become manifested. Karya, effects. Karana, cause. Kartra, doer. Atma, soul or source. Bhuta, material ingredients. Indriya, senses. Manhamaya, hovering on the mental plane. Vaikārikaha, mode of goodness. Tejasaha, the mode of passion. Cha, and. Tamasaha, the mode of ignorance. Cha, and. Iti, thus. Aham, false ego. Tridha, three kinds. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, HG Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Mahatattva, the great causal truth, transforms into false ego, which is manifested in three phases: cause, effect, and the doer. All such activities are on the mental plane and are based on the material elements, growth, senses, and mental speculation. The false ego is represented in three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Purport: the pure living entity in his original spiritual existence is fully conscious of his constitutional position as an eternal servitor of the Lord. All souls who are situated in pure consciousness are liberated, and therefore they eternally live in bliss and knowledge in the various Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky. When the material creation is manifest, it is not meant for them. The eternally liberated souls are called Nityamuktas, and they have nothing to do with the material creation. The material creation is meant for rebellious souls who are not prepared to accept subordination under the Supreme Lord. This spirit of false lordship is called false ego. It is manifested in the three modes of material nature, and it exists in mental speculation only. Those who are in the mode of goodness think that each and every person is God, and thus they laugh at the pure devotees who try to engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Those who are puffed up by the mode of passion try to lord it over material nature in various ways. Some of them engage in altruistic activities as if they were agents appointed to do good to others by their mental speculative plans. Such men accept the standard ways of mundane altruism, but their plans are made on the basis of false ego. This false ego extended the limit of becoming one with the Lord. The last class of egoistic conditioned souls, those in the mode of ignorance, are misguided by identification of the gross body with the self. Thus, all their activities are centered around the body only. All these persons are given the chance to play with false egoistic ideas, but at the same time, the Lord is kind enough to give them a chance to take help from scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam so that they may understand the science of Krishna and thus make their lives successful. The entire material creation, therefore, is meant for the falsely egoistic living entities hovering on the mental plane under different illusions in the modes of material nature. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshirunitamena Tasmai Shri Guru Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapatakamallam Shri Guru Vaishnavangsha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuitam Savaditam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vijakanvitam Shahar. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagadpati Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasite Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavani Sari Vishwavanusite Devi Pranamami Hri Panchakalpadru Vishwakapasindhu Bhyavacha Patita Nam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo 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 Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Nitanavane Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanavane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharni Nirvisesa Shunyavadi Paschate Deshatarni Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, sorry, Jnananandamayam Devam Nirvashpratakakriti Madharam Sarva Vidyanam Haigrimam Pasme Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinir Smarana Hai Vigna Vinashana Naya Shihai Nijavanchita Puranam. Okay, so here we're starting to, we've been discussing the false ego, Mahatattva, transformation, as is being described here, the Mahatattva, the great causal truth transforms into false ego. So here specifically Srila Prabhupada discusses some points on false ego, the modes of mature nature, and the conditioned living entity, or those specifically defined here as those living entities who are rebellious towards the devotional service of the Lord. And specifically, Srila Prabhupada makes the point, all of this creation takes place only for the purpose of facilitating those egoistic living entities, egoistic, falsely identifying living entities. And the Lord is kind enough to facilitate them. It's there, there's water there. The Lord is kind enough to facilitate them, but is facilitate their false enjoyment and false conception of life, but He's also kind enough to facilitate them being able to get out of that false condition of life, or false conception of life, or the samsara, continuation of that false conception of life. So the Lord facilitates, as we've been discussing many times, Srila Prabhupada's mentioning this many times throughout the purports, how the Lord, He does both. He sanctions this material world in order to let the living entities try to enjoy, and He also, within that sanction, ultimately He tries to reform those conditioned souls to bring him to the level of, bring the individual living entity to have that loving relationship with the Lord again, as that was made the point when last time I spoke on a verse, that the Lord is specifically eager to have that loving relationship with the individual living entity, that He is yearning for that. He feels almost a lacking for that. So the living entities here explained, the material creation is meant for rebellious souls who are not prepared to accept subordination under the Supreme Lord. This spirit of false lordship is called false ego. And so this false ego, this misidentification with this material body, is under the idea ultimately of not wanting to be under the subordination of the Lord, means one wants to enjoy. So then in order to enjoy, he takes upon different conceptions of life, as the Bhagavad Gita speaks about, that one takes upon different conception of life from one birth to another, just as the aroma is carried by air. Is that right? That's the right way of saying that. And just like that, one carries one's conception of life from one body to another. So his false ego, and it is it is manifested in the three modes of mature nature, and it exists in mental speculation only. As Srila Prabhupada often says about the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is not a concoction of the mind. This is not a concoction of the mind, but our activities and our lives are. They're under the precept or under the idea that it exists in mental speculation only. It's not actually reality. It is illusion. It is false ego, false identification. Why? Well, Srila Prabhupada explains many times, the temporary nature of things, just like you might in a dream identify as a king, and then but you're not really that king. So under this false conception of life, we are performing activities in the modes of mature nature. So Srila Prabhupada, he says that, and then he gives an explanation of that. How somebody in the mode of goodness thinks that every person is God. Now, Srila Prabhupada mentions that in different places we see a different standard of mode of goodness. Sometimes in Krishna in the 11th canto, the mode of goodness and beyond, he defines, well, those in the mode of goodness, they actually worship me. Those in the mode of passion, they do whatever, they run after material desire, and mode of ignorance, they're just useless, kind of just, in sleep. So the different modes of material nature are there. And so specifically Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here the Mayavadis, perhaps, Mayavadis who are at a level of mode of goodness. Because what? They can control, all of their senses are illuminated by knowledge. They know they eat at a very particular time, sleep at a very particular time. Their sadhana is so strict, it's stricter than what we practice. So they become conditioned by the mode of goodness. Because the body becomes healthy, the mind becomes healthy, life more or less becomes very regulated. So that comes to the level of goodness. But because their knowledge, again, is influenced under this false ego, it is this, their mode of goodness, it's manifested in the mode of goodness, their false ego, goes to the level of I am God, which being the worst of them all, that is being the greatest of material desires, the worst of, you could say, the worst extent of false ego, being that I want to be God, because that one wants to lord it over material energy, and that's what false ego means. One's desire to lord it over. Those in the mode of passion and ignorance, as we'll see, as Srila Prabhupada describes, want to particularly lord over, you can see material desire, okay, I want to get so many material things, or those in the mode of ignorance, that I am very attached to this body. Prabhupada said specifically in the mode of passion, they perform so many activities in order to become purified. This is all in the 11th canto. A lot of this is in the 11th canto of the 25th chapter. And Krishna defines all of these things very nicely. One in the mode of goodness, how he acts. One in the mode of passion, what is his mentality. What is the mentality of that in the mode of ignorance? It's actually much more detailed than what Krishna just presents in the Bhagavad Gita. So it's something worth actually looking through and studying. Because it can actually defines our mentality very clearly. I mean, maybe I can read through a little bit of it here. So, mind and sense control, tolerance, discrimination, sticking to one's prescribed duty, truthfulness, mercy, careful study of past and future, satisfaction in any condition, generosity, renunciation of sense gratification, faith in the spiritual master, being embarrassed at improper action, charity, simplicity, humbleness, and satisfaction within oneself are the qualities of mode of goodness. Pretty detailed, right? And then here we go, mode of passion. This one's going to hit us a little bit, and then the ignorance one will hit us too. So mature desire, great endeavor, audacity, dissatisfaction, even in gain, false pride, praying for material advancement, considering oneself different and better than others, sense gratification, rash eagerness to fight, or fond for hearing oneself praised, the tendency to ridicule others, advertise one's own prowess and justifying one's actions by one's strength and qualities of the mode of passion. Are the qualities of mode of passion. So those are pretty relatable to us, at least to myself. Intolerant anger, stinginess. Stinginess, speaking without scriptural authority, violent hatred, living as a parasite, hypocrisy, chronic fatigue, quarrel, lamentation, delusion, unhappiness, depression, sleeping too much, false expectations, fear, and laziness constitute the major qualities of the mode of ignorance. So now Krishna says, now please hear about the combination of these three modes. So these are some of these, Krishna says, well, these are the major qualities. There's also minor qualities and sub-qualities that constitute the mode of passion, in goodness, passion, and ignorance. So the living entity under the pretext or under the false ego is carried out, or it is manifested in the three modes of material nature, primary goodness, passion, ignorance. And so in those states, one starts to form this identification of I and mine, as Krishna explains in the 11th canto, in the 7th verse of that, 6th verse. My dear Uddhava, the combination of these three modes is the combination of all three modes is present in the mentality of I and mine. The ordinary transactions of this world, which are carried out through the agency of the mind, the object of perception, the senses, and the vital airs of physical body, are also based on the combination of the modes. So that was mentioned also in this verse, that all such activities are on the mental plane and are based on the material elements, gross senses, and mental speculation. So, purport. The illusory concept of I and mine occurs by the mixture of the three modes of nature. A person in goodness may feel, I am peaceful. One in passion may think, I am lusty. And one in ignorance may think, I am angry. Similarly, one may think, my peace, my lust, or my anger. One completely absorbed in the mentality of being peaceful could not work in the material world. He would lack any impulse to perform activities. Similarly, one absorbed in lust would be blinded without at least a tinge of peacefulness or restraint. One overwhelmed with anger could not function properly in the material world without the mixture of other qualities. Thus, we find that a material modes does not occur in pure isolation form, but rather is mixed with the other modes, thereby making possible normal functioning within this material world. Ultimately, one should think, I am a servant, eternal servant of Lord Krishna, and my only possession is loving service to the Lord. This is the pure state of consciousness beyond the modes of material nature. So by the mixing of the modes of material nature, we already have the false ego, and we're functioning under that, and then those activities are manifest in the modes of material nature, and then the mixing of that creates that even stronger. So you can see this binding modes of material nature, how they function. That you come into this world with this false ego, false conception of life, and when we function under the three modes of material nature, they create more conceptions, more deeper attachments to that false ego. So that is specifically done, as is being stated here by Srila Prabhupada. It is all under the manifest, and it exists in mental speculation only. One is thinking always like that, me, myself, and I. It is mental speculation. It is false knowledge. It is not proper understanding. It is not done with Shastra in mind. It is not done with Krishna's words in mind. Therefore, it is all mental speculation. Because the specific definition of mental speculation is given that it means the attempt to reach principles of truth through the efforts of one's own intelligence, using little types of verification. So the Mayavadis, that's the platform of being God. Okay, we'll make up the truth. We'll already have a predefined conception of the truth, and then we'll work around every single verse to come to that conclusion. So they're efforts of one's own intelligence. Not seeing that buddhi buddhimatam asmi, that Krishna is actually the giver of intelligence. So those in the mode of goodness, they try to use the intelligence to try to come to a level of truth, and they come to a level of false truth, because it's mental speculation of thinking that they are God. And then those in the mode of passion, they see the highest truth as being those of helping others, right? Okay, go in altruistic activities, philanthropic activities, I'm going to go perform this and perform that in order to help others, and that's the truth, that's the highest truth, that's my truth. And then those in the mode of ignorance, what is their truth? Well, I am the most important thing. What is the most highest truth? Me. My body. This body. What is this body? You see this materialist, those in the mode of ignorance, it seems that within those conceptions of life, there's different levels of modes within themselves also. Just like we have the materialists who are grossly identifying with the material body, and then those materialists who are on the, you could say, within that realm of ignorance on the level of goodness. They're very regulated, they don't eat too much, they don't sleep too much, they wake up very early in the morning, exercise. But it's all under the conception or this idea of I am the body. So it is ignorance, but then within that ignorance there's different levels of mixing of the modes, like it is being defined here. They cannot go on without that. So the mental speculation, the desire to reach truth without any other source but one's own intelligence, or considering one's intelligence to be of the topmost source, as my spiritual master defines that one who takes his mind to be a guru is a fool for a disciple. So everybody is a fool in this material world, because under the modes of material nature, they are under the concept of I and mine, this false ego, and in accordance with the modes of material nature, they are coming to false truths, which propounds this material idea of they are misguided. Their activities, as Srila Prabhupada says, that all these persons are given the chance to play with false egoistic ideas. We are given that. Krishna gives the intelligence. He says, well, where did the atheists get their intelligence from? Well, from Krishna. I give that intelligence by which you don't believe in me, or by that which you worship a demigod, or by that which you even think you are God. So we're not willing to, as Srila Prabhupada begins this, almost this little whole section, we're not willing to be subordinate under the Supreme Lord, we want to be our own master. So that is the false ego, that desire to become one's own master, the desire to become the Lord of the universe. So under these false egoistic ideas that are carried out, and it is all mental speculation, it is all useless knowledge, it is all false knowledge. It does no benefit for the jiva, actually. All of their activities that are just under their own conception of life. So, hopeless. There's no hope for them. Absolutely no hope. What is their hope? As we're reading from, if I can bring that back up, from Narottam Das Thakur, he's praying like that I rejected the association of devotees and instead tried to enjoy amongst the impious non-devotees. In this way, I became caught in the noose of karma. I continually drank the virulent poison of sense gratification. I refused to swim in the nectar of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. Why do I stay alive? What happiness do I have? Why did Narottam Das not die long ago? So specifically making the point here that, or before that he actually makes the point, that I rejected the treasure of love of Krishna and deliberately struggled to become poor. I dived into the host of sinful deeds. Karma bandha fas, he particularly makes the point that becoming bound in this network of karma, there is no escape. One is completely conditioned. There is no escape. Nitya baddha, no chance to escape. How will you escape under your own conception of life? Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says that, but at the same time, the Lord is kind enough to give them a chance to take help from scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam so that they may understand the science of Krishna and make their lives successful. So although the Lord is giving them a situation by which they can go on suffering again and again, trying to enjoy in different ways, ultimately the Lord's real desire is to give them this knowledge, to give them help from the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And we see that. We're able to understand that these books are able to liberate one from any condition of life. As the Srimad Bhagavatam says, I'm going to probably butcher this Sanskrit, so Yad anudhyasi na yuktaha karma granti nibandhanam chindanti kovidastasya ko na kuryat katharatim. With sword in hand, intelligent cut through the binding knot of reactionary work, karma, by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to this message? What does this message do? It cuts through the binding knot of reactionary work. It removes the karma, it completely destroys that karma, that binding nature of this material world. It completely destroys that by what? By the sword of knowledge. By the sword of knowledge. It is Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the light of this age. It is the sun, just after Krishna has left this world, it's all darkness, but the Srimad Bhagavatam has risen like the sun. It is by which one can completely be in real knowledge. No more mental speculation required. No more speculation required. It's complete knowledge. So this mental speculation creates this knot. This activities on this platform creates this knot of material existence. So by this Srimad Bhagavatam, one becomes liberated. Well, I'm already out of time. And we can see that when you go and distribute books. Like we were in Gatlinburg, and Gatlinburg is a really hard place to distribute books. It's a really difficult place because you're faced with just anybody that you probably wouldn't approach out here when you saw them on the street. That's all you have to approach. Literally, that's all you got. It's white Christians. And it's cold. It's like 40 degrees. They're going to be facing 26 degrees now this weekend. But you're out there and it's 40 degrees, your hands are frozen, your nose is frozen, your feet are frozen, and nobody's taking books. But when there's a few people there that are somewhat sincere and looking for something, looking for the truth, and somehow they get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, and you can see that without that, they were finished. Just like I was distributing books and I went across the street and they have a store called Jerky. What is beef jerky? They have a store called, and this guy comes out and he's smoking a cigarette and I just talked to him. But he was really into like just studying philosophy and understanding. And it was like, oh, do you have the Bhagavad Gita? It's like, oh, I've been trying to get that for so long. And so I was like, do you read a lot? He says a lot. And I presented it Srimad Bhagavatam. He was broke like anything. But he took the bhakti stack and he gave me $25. And his son was there in the store too. Whole family line of going to hell for lifetimes and lifetimes, right? His son was there too, and his son gave that money. He put together some money, $25, and he took the whole bhakti stacks. And I was thinking, my God, this person was finished. That's it. He had no chance at all. But now, because by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, he's able to get Srila Prabhupada's books, this Bhagavad Gita. He has Vedic literature in his hands. He has a pure devotee in his house, in wherever he goes, whether it's like there or... And he offered me, he said, hey, if you want to take any of that. I actually didn't even notice the store. And I went inside, and then he said, you want to take anything? Go ahead, or you take whatever you want. And I looked around, I was like, all it is just beef jerkies and different flavors of beef jerky. I was like, oh my God, I'm literally in like the center of what is like the most sinful thing you can do with your life. And this person is Srila Prabhupada's books. Here we go, this is liberation, is coming out of the knot of material existence. It's more powerful than karma. It's more powerful. He may be stuck in that cycle, but now he's going to get out. He's going to read those books for sure. I know, it's for a fact because he loves studying. So we meet a few souls out there, and you meet those people, and you've helped. You've become an instrument in the hands of Lord Chaitanya in assisting liberate this conditioned soul, coming out of the modes of passion, ignorance, and goodness. And so it is very special. And you can start to realize how the Lord facilitates all of this just for this one conditioned soul. We're in Gatlinburg. It's cold. It's useless. We don't have to be there. We could be somewhere else. But the fact that the Lord goes out of His way to facilitate each individual soul, it's quite amazing. And you have those experiences. Like sometimes you meet people, they're like, there's no way this person's going to take books. There's no way. It's like a white Christian middle-aged lady. But they give you $100, they give you 75 and take a whole Saptarishi set. So the Lord is very kind at this creation. He makes it a point to save the conditioned souls, bring them back to Him. So the purpose of creation, the modes of material nature, they're acting, but higher than that is the transcendental book distribution of Srila Prabhupada, by which one can liberate everyone in this material world. Just by the presence of those books in that atmosphere, by the presence of those devotees who are distributing books. They are purifying that atmosphere and helping people come to the platform of pure devotional service. Okay, I'm out of time. Sorry. Is there no questions? Okay. All right. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Chakravadara Vishya Kripa Sindhu Vyavach.